Welcome to the Urban Uplander podcast. This collaborative series, created by Urban Uplander Pet Care LLC, was designed to facilitate continual learning. Join your host, Melinda and her special guests weekly to learn all things about pet care, dog sports, bird dog training, and so much more.
Both those levels. We're also getting the bonding aspect, right? Our dogs are able to say, not say, but I think it's logical to know that our dogs feel like we're taking the time to get them out and provide for them. So I think it's just a wonderful way to keep bonding with our dogs. And again, every moment we spend training and spend trying to communicate with them, it's naturally just going to deepen our bond and our understanding of each other. But yeah, I think it's, there's so many reasons to do more with your dogs. Like I said, we have a lot of events on the calendar. One of my favorite parts about these events is meeting like-minded people. I know we talk a lot about how, as much as I hang out with dogs, I like to be a social human being as well. And it's very hard to make the time to be a social human being and go out to eat or to bars or whatever it may, a concert, when you know that there's stuff to do with your dog, and not just stuff that needs to be done with your dog, but stuff you enjoy doing with your dog. You just kind of wish that there were humans involved sometimes. So these things are nice to help us get around like-minded people, spend time with other people who enjoy the same things we do. And yeah.
Yeah, it's it is kind of part of the whole thing that comes with us, right? We have a pet sitting business, so obviously we want to be around people who are pet owners because they are part of, they're our clients, right? But at the same time, we would also love it if these individuals are similar to how we think. A lot of people get dogs for different reasons, and we're not here to tell you why you should or should not have a dog. But to the aspect of, we are people who not only look into the total aspects of getting a dog, as far as health, as far as the breeder, as far as everything that kind of comes with it, and checking that this dog is set up for the goals and the things that we have in mind. Some people just want a companion, and some people just want someone they can come home and look at and give a pet to. And hey, big ups to all those individuals, because again, I know how it is to come home without dog, and I know how it is to come home and have someone say hello and stuff like that. And also what it's like to have a dog to be active with and to do those things. But for the most idea, we like people who want to get their dog involved. And considering that we run a place that has socialization care, we have people who want to get their dogs involved in more. I mean, it's easy to put your dog in a crate for 16 hours and say, that's just going to be the daycare. I'll let them out 3 times a day and call it a day.
Yeah.
But people who actually invest in their dog to say, hey, I want my dog to have friends, and I want my dog to go out, and I want my dog to be active, and I want my dog to be around a professional who also can, potentially reinforce some of the behaviors and some of the aspects that I'm trying to teach it. We are around people who are like-minded. So to further that, if we're doing things that aren't necessarily business related, and more of the aspects of the goals that we have personally, and more of the aspects of the goals we have training wise, the way that we kind of interact with our dogs is a fantastic way to meet other people who interact with their dogs in a similar manner. And that's where it kind of comes into, doing more with your dogs is going to introduce you to people who do more with their dogs. And you can learn more to do, and they may also learn more of what to do.
We have the idea of, there's some dogs that are perfectly capable of being in their crate for those 16 hours, right? And that's honestly just part of being busy working people these days. But when you do know more people and you find out that there are daycares that are set up to help dogs become behaviorally better and aren't free-for-alls all day like ours, it makes it a little bit easier to find help in those realms, right? Or even if you do plan on still having your dog home for those 16 hours, it's nice now knowing, okay, when that 16 hours is up, and I come home, I know the training I can put in place tonight. I know the mental and physical enrichment I can provide while my dog's in that crate, right? Or I have these other events we're about to go to where, that energy build is going to be released in this super constructive, facilitated way. So, like you said, it's hard when you have a dog, and fortunately our lives, at least mine, I know that you have school and stuff like that, but my life is set up for these dogs, so when people then realize, oh my gosh, there's somebody else in my community who has their day set up to do this, could I get help from that person? So like you said, it's really nice in that way, and I think we've strived to make more of those moments for people too. You work all week, it's hard to plan time to get out on a hike. Well, we're an AKC Fit Club. We set up pack walks where you can come join us and have these social moments with other like minded human beings and still be able to get your dog out moving and interacting with other dogs that are very socially inclined, do well around other dogs, and can understand dog body language and communication, and not want to just be up in your dog's face, but really get a walk in and know our dogs are also working out as much as we are. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we already meet people who are like us in terms of how we do stuff. And now I think what we've done, especially with you going out and doing dog sports, is we're meeting other individuals who are as like yourself in terms of desire. But now we're actually through social media, we're meeting individuals who are like, that looks cool, that looks fun, that looks like something I want to do. So being, yourself is kind of taking these steps and kind of introduce yourselves to these worlds. You kind of can be part of the things that you've done doing more is that you've been able to step out your comfort zone of I can only do certain things because I don't think I'll be allowed there, or I don't think I'll be accepted
I'm not
there,
going
or
to
I
fit
don't think
in.
I don't think that I would fit in there. Like
Yeah.
every time I see something from that, I see the people who are there. They don't look like me. They don't sound like me. They don't look like they'll be where I'm from.
They don't
If I
train
go
like
there, they don't train like me. And if I go there with my dog, I just won't. I'll just be ostracized or I'll be
me.
stigmatized. And I think that when we first started doing more with our dogs, that was often the case where it's just like I this uncomfortability, and
I
now
didn't
we
do
go
a
there.
lot for that reason. Yeah.
Right, and I think that part of the things that we kind of preach in terms of doing more is that you can start from scratch, right? You can start from like I've never heard of this sport before in my life. I have never trained my dog ever in this area to do this thing, but I do want to do more. So learning those steps from A to B to get from okay, where are you at, to get there is part of it. And again, that's part of the adventure, and that's the part of the doing more. And again, it can push you beyond the zone of comfort that you're in where okay, I'll just walk my dog because the only thing I know what to do is walk it, where
Yeah.
next thing you know, you may be again driving 30 minutes to do a fast cat or dog diving or any of the dog activities that are out there.
30 minutes is
So
nice. It's more like 2, 3 hours.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to scare everybody off yet.
Oh, I
But the
gotcha.
idea the idea would be, if you can,
Yeah.
once you start in the direction and say, this is something I want to do,
Absolutely.
I can do more. And again, there's a lot
And I
of
think
dog
that,
activities and sports that are out there that people
yes.
may not even know about. And
Yeah.
just because, and once you make that commitment to saying, no, I want my dog to, be fulfilled and do more with it, you'll be
They would enjoy
surprised at all
this.
the things.
Why not?
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's a bummer thinking that it took until now to be able to do so much with our dogs for those worries, because our dogs love these things and they're so good at them, and it kind of feel like we could have been doing this stuff forever. 2024 doesn't have to be the year we're doing more. It's finally where we're in these places of comfortability to keep going out and striving to do more and more, and not just striving for us to do more, but I think that's part of why I feel the responsibility to add particular training into Urban Uplander, right? Is because, I may not be a professional and an expert in everything I do. Now I am in a lot, right? But maybe not in everything, because I still want to bring the resources I can to the people who would like them. And because some of these sports, aren't just readily available, and I do have the resources for them, why not share them? Again, not an expert, not a pro, but if I have the rats and the tubes and the straw, I'm going to bring barn hunt, which is something we have got to do. And, definitely learning more and more and more in this sport. And hopefully we'll have a club starting soon. But like you said, we're now at this place where we're finally getting to do things. We want to do more. We want to bring more to people to be able to help them do more, whether it's our pack walks, our barn hunt, our Midwest Dog Sport crew on Facebook, whatever it is. We want to now be able to show people that you don't have to wait like I waited, right? There's space for you here. Come on in. Let's help. Let's teach you. Because again, as much as this is our year to do more, we want to help other people be able to do more as well. So absolutely. I love that you brought that point up. I hadn't thought about that much, but I think that is why this year is so exciting. It's like, this is finally the year that every activity and sport that I've personally really wanted to do, we get to now do. I can't wait to bring that to more people too. So, what should we talk about next?
We talked about the dog sports and the aspects, and I think that's one thing that maybe traps people up. They just don't know like what to do, and I think that sometimes you get kind of bogged down about the details, or a lot of people they freeze at the beginning, like I want to do this, but I don't know where to start. And even for the things to do more of my dog, while I live downtown in the high rise, I don't know what to do. Like all I can do is, I have this time to this time I work 9 to 5, I have a kid. I just don't know what to do. And I think that when it comes to looking at like activities or sports that you want to do with your dog, and we talked a little bit about this before. For one, everyone's not in the same position in life, and that's totally fine. Like we're going to talk about some of the stuff that we're doing and this stuff that we choose to invest in to make happen. And it's not something where we definitely want to like shameful, oh, you don't do this. No, it's nothing like that, because there are plenty of free activities to do with your dog. There are plenty of things that if you just again have a little bit of time, energy, and effort. I mean, we're talking hour, 2 hours.
And if you don't, finding someone like us who does have a little extra time and effort to help assist in these things, right?
Well, right. But I mean, again, when you think about like just free aspects of what you can do, Indiana has many trails that are around here. Some in state parks, so yeah, they may be $5 to $7 to get into. But there's so many other areas where you can just park and hop on a trail. The Monon drive all the way from downtown to I think as far as Carmel and maybe even beyond that.
I think it's thousands of miles of trail, honestly.
I don't know about thousands. That's pretty far.
Oh, it is. I swear. I read it somewhere.
That's like 4 or 5 states. I don't know if it goes that far, but it could.
Georgia. No, I don't know about that one. But you're right. Whether it's enrichment toys, right? When you live in that high-rise apartment, you don't have a whole lot of time. Well, how can I schedule a meal for my dog to make it a little bit more stimulating? Do I need a licky mat? Do I need some Kong topples? Do I need, and there's even like, which I really want one, just hint, husband, one of those running pads for dogs. Again, I know that we're talking about a little bit more money wise in here, scooting away from free stuff. But like you said, taking your dog out for a walk and making it more of a sniffari, right? So being less strict on how fast and far we're getting in this walk, but do you get to take time to sniff, smell those poles where other dogs have peed, root around in the grass, maybe even bring some treats with you to toss out in the grass and let your dog sniff those out and eat them up. So Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean parks. There's a lot of just local parks. Nice place you can go. Big fields. Dogs love that. Things they can kind of to run around. If you can get a long leash, you can kind of help and teach your dog how to fetch, doing something like kind of letting them go, kind of run, bringing them back in. And again, this stuff that's not that you have to invest like a lot of training and aspects to do. You often hear the same thing, like, "Oh, my dog pulls so much, my dog does this X, Y, and Z." Then find a field it can kind of run. Find a place where you can be enclosed. There are a lot of places that you can kind of go to help with some of the aspects of
Sniff
the dog.
spots. There's now
Right,
private
yeah,
dog
sniff spots,
parks where you can,
little smaller dog parks, exactly.
and then we
Wooded
can
areas,
also figure out the training that we can implement around these things, right? So if we are
exactly.
experiencing particular things that we deem as undesirable in our dog's physical activity, we can maybe work with somebody to figure out how to take that desire to pull and put it to use, right? Whether it's
Hmm.
bike joring, running with your dogs. So like candy cross, which is another sport you can do to your dog essentially is meant to pull you while you run. So there are, for people who are experiencing particular undesirable traits in their dog, we may be experiencing some things that are breed specific, right? So I know having bird dogs, there are particular behaviors that are hardwired genetic behaviors in my dog. They're going to point birds, right? They're going to want to seek out small game. They're going to want to retrieve. There's just things that they are naturally going to want to do. That doesn't mean I can't train around it, right? But it does mean that I can take these behaviors and provide a facilitated way for them to do these behaviors, which is where a lot of dog sports come in. For instance, we know a couple dogs that really just don't want to walk on leash off. They don't want to walk. They want to run. So there are particular sports like lure coursing, fast cat, that we can put them in to where they can do these behaviors in a facilitated way. And we can also know that it's not in a way that, oh my gosh, I really wish this wasn't on leash right now, walking through downtown Indy. But it's on a course now, and we get a ribbon for it. So, for people that are experiencing some of those behavior aspects, it's great looking at those behaviors objectively and thinking, what sport could really hone in on this and allow my dog to do it in a facilitated manner. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Urban Uplander Podcast 2024, The Year Our Dogs Do More, Part 2. If you enjoyed this part of our conversation, stay tuned for Part 3.
Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Urban Uplander Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow Urban Uplander Pet Care on Instagram and Facebook for more pet care and upland hunting content.